Okay, welcome to today's lab. This is for week 3. We're doing a redo of the AM and the PM sessions. I'm going to try to chain them together and yeah, we're going to get started here. So this is all about AWS deployments this week, and we're going to work with a few different features. And so we're going to get started off with launch templates and then do some ECS and then some load balancing and auto scaling to finish up. All right, I'm not going to go over all the lab instructions. They are in the repo. But I am going to be doing this alternative simple React app option. I've already got that built here. And so, but you can go along and do this right here. Just follow along with these instructions. You can go ahead and modify this file here. And I'll show you that I already did that. And you can see that I went in here and I put my name as Chad. So when your app is done building, you can go ahead and run this command or nano this command and nano this file and change this to whatever to say whatever you want. All right. And so also this creates a Git repo. So go ahead and remove that if you don't want that to be a repo. Here's your command to do this to make these changes. And so this is what your file tree should look like. And that file tree is right here. I've got a couple extra things that you'll see. We'll be creating this right now. And so you're going to create a Docker file. As you can see, I've already got mine created. And I've got this multi-stage Docker file here. And so I've already got that. Let's see here. I've already got my Docker file. I've got the stage 2. Stage 1 and stage 2, it's in our notes here, but basically stage 1 is a bloated image and we want a more um, slimmed down version of our image. And so that makes us more efficient, saves money. And so we'll do the 2-stage build. All right. So, but I have the 1 stage here if you need it. And then your project structure should look just like this. I'll show that here. Right. And so you can see my structure should match. All right, and we edited that. All right, and then so we can go ahead and do this. I've already done this. You can create yourself a Docker ignore file and add these in there. And then for the folks that are on a Mac, and you can read more about this in the lab docs, you need to get this up and running here to see that. I'll show you what it looks like when it is running. I've already got it running on my machine. This allows us to build multi-architectural images so that it'll work across architectures. I'm on a Mac, and so this is going to be deployed and ran on a Linux VM, and so EC2 instance, and so that is different architecture. So we needed to build. If you're not running this on a Mac, building this on a Mac, then don't worry about this part. All right, and so I've already run this command here, and I've already built my image. And you might see some errors, and it breaks down all of your errors here. All right. This talks about just building and tagging. All right, and then so this is where we're actually going to build if you're doing the React voice generator app that you guys were working on this week. This is a more advanced application, but I've got the steps there for doing that. All right, and this is for doing this again. That's that more advanced app. All right, you can go on Docker Hub when you're done to make sure that your image is still there. And all right. And then the next step is we're going to use that image and we're going to deploy a front end with React launch template. So we are going to deploy a React app using launch templates. All right, so I'm going to be switching over to the AWS console here, and we are going to you're going to have to follow along on the docs at home. All right, and let me get set up here real quick. look for launch templates. And you can see that I already have a template created, so I'm just going to show that. You would be following the directions and just creating a launch template. All the directions are in the lab. I'm going to launch an instance from the template so that you can see what it looks like when it's done. But basically, your launch template, when you're done creating it, following the directions, you'll see this. You will be set up with the Amazon 2023, and you're going to pick the T3 Micro. You're going to get yourself a key pair, and you're going to have your security group. That's something that you bake into the launch template. And then the little extra magic that we do is we offer this user profile, user data here. And so this script is in the README. The one thing you'll need to do is just make sure that this matches your Docker Hub name here and here, and that you're using the correct image version. All right, when I go to my Docker Hub, you can see that I have lots of different versions here. And this is the version that we're going to go for. So fix demo 2. So if we go over to my launch template, we say this just says fix demo. So we need to add the 2 there in here. And now this will pull that most recent versioned image from Docker Hub. So we'll go ahead and just launch an instance. It'll take a second, but while it's building right now, if you try to go ahead and open the address, I'll show you a couple little things here. It's going to do that. So you just click in here a couple times and then go over here and remove the S off of HTTP. This is not HTTPS, which is secure. This is just plain old HTTP, port 80. So you'll remove that. And now it says site can't be reached. That's to be expected. It's going to take a little bit of time for the server to build. So while we're waiting, we'll go over here and close that. So this is my instance here that's running. So we're going to go ahead and connect to it and check it out. So if you connect here, you go to this tab here, you want to grab this. You want to go to a terminal, and you're going to use this to get to your instance. And so I just got to point at my key where I saved it on my machine. And I saved it at the home directory in the SSH directory, and it's saved here. Just hit yes here. And now we're connected to our instance. And so I'm going to see if Docker is started, because that's a quick way for me to test if this is working. All right, so I have a Docker image up. And so we're going to go ahead and go back over here and see if we're running it. I'm expecting it to be. Yeah, there we go. And now it's working. So if you want to check your logs post build, here's a command for you to run right here. So I'll wait a second so you can see this command. This is just running it with sudo, and then we're just tailing the last 50 lines of the log. This is what we're looking for. You could cat this entire log, but we wanted to see the last 50 lines. And this will kind of give us an idea of what happened with our user script and the build. And so you can see that it's pulling right here. This is in the user script, we gave this image location in Docker Hub. And so it pulled this, and then this is it pulling the image in and building. And then you can see down here, it shows our application, because the very last command that's in that user script is Docker PS, which lists your current running containers. And so it was running when it ran that. And so that's why we see the application working. All right, so our launch template is working just fine. And when we're done with our launch template, we want to go ahead and destroy our resources. So I'm going to go over here, and I am going to go ahead and terminate this instance. All right. And now let's move on. We're going to do we're going to go ahead and add auto scaling and load balancing. And then I'll follow that up at the end with a quick ECS demo. All right, so we're just going to keep going with this application here. All right, so actually, you know what? I take that back. We're just going to go ahead and just jump right into the ECS. That makes the most sense. That's how the lessons went this morning. So let's just do that. All right, you just search for ECS, Elastic Container Service. All right, we can see some other folks have got some stuff already running. All right, so give me a moment here. Let me get myself set up. All right, now we're going to get to our ECS. So we're going to go ahead and click over here on Create a Cluster. We're going to give it a name, Chats. Right there, it's got a name for me because I've already done this. We're going to leave it here at clicked on Fargate only. And that allows AWS to manage everything for us. And then you're just going to go ahead and click Create. And then now you're going to go over here and click on Task Definition while this is spinning up. And we're going to click Create a new task definition. And we're going to give it a name. Chad's EC2 demo task. It's nice and easy. Leave this checked, but you do want to make two changes here. We're going to go to a quarter CPU and half a meg here, or half a gig. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and make sure that's everything we need. Yeah, we just need to check our port mappings down here. Want to make sure this is good. It's all defaulted, so you don't need to change anything. So all this looks good. And I'm just going to check, make sure. Yeah, I want to make sure we have one container selected here as well. All right. We can give it a name. Yes, if you want to give it a name here. Oh, and we also have to give it our image. So I made some mistakes here. So step back and make sure we do. Yeah, we have to, in the image URI, so we've got to give it the location of our application. And so mine is here, but we know it's not this version. So let's go ahead and double check our version. Our version is fixed demo 2. All right, so now we've got the right version in there. We've got ourselves a name here. And then we check our mappings and that looks good. And now we can click create. All right, and then the next thing we need to do is create an ECS service. So you're going to go back to the cluster. You're going to click on your cluster. And then you're going to go down here where it's already clicked into services. You're going to click create. And then we're going to give it a name. I've already got mine named here. All right, and I've got multiple versions, so we'll just use 3. And demo. All right, and let me check my notes. Existing cluster here. This all stays the same. Want to make sure this is 1 here. All right. Under networking, we want to make sure we've got VPC and all of our subnets should be checked. And you need to make sure you select a security group. So you can create a new security group, or you can select one that you've already created. I think I've got one here in all of this mess of security groups. Well, maybe I don't. All right, here. Here's my security group, Chad Simple App. We've got a lot of groups. Add your security group and just get rid of the default. this should just have port 80 open to everyone. All right, and so we've got our security group. And this the inbound rules again, just HTTP port 80 source anywhere for that rule, for that security group rule. And there's one thing, make sure this is turned on, that or you won't be able to access your app if that's not turned on. And now we just click create. All right, and now we're on step 3.4, which is find your app. All right, and so we need to wait 2 to 3 minutes. So I will go ahead and pause the video. All right, so we're done building now. All right, and it's a little tricky, but we got to find our endpoint to check our application's running or not. So you click on clusters, you click on your cluster, you click on tasks, you click on the task itself, and then you click on networking. And then over here is your IP. So you can grab that, or you can just click this little button here, and it'll open you up, and there's your application running. So this is being managed and deployed by AWS. And so this is just a little bit easier, but it costs more money than doing it yourself. But this is AWS's ECS service. And so yeah, we've got that covered. Now let's move on to our next section. Okay, we are ready for day 4 PM's lab. It starts with add auto scaling and load balancing to your deployment. We are going to start off with creating a target group. And so for that, we are going to go to our EC2 dashboard. And if you scroll down, you'll find load balancers here. You can just type load balancers up here. So you'll click on load balancers. Excuse me, I am wrong. You'll click on target group. Sorry about that. Getting ahead of myself. Click on target groups, and you can see I've already created one here. And so you will just click create a target group. You'll just leave it as instances here. You will give it a name. So Chad's target group demo. And then leave it HTTP and 80, leave all this the same default here. And you're actually going to, in the README, it has you making some changes to these. You don't need to. You can leave all of these as defaults. You can click next. All right, you're not going to register a target. You're going to leave this. So don't register anything here. Just go down here and click create target group. All right. You should see this successfully created target group. And go ahead and just leave this open and go ahead and just go on something over here, right click and open in a new tab and give ourselves another new tab and then jump over here. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our load balancer. So if you click down here, go to load balancers, and we're going to see I've created one, but I'm just going to go ahead and create another one. Just got to make sure I give it a different name. You're going to do an application load balancer. And you're going to give it a name, Chad's new ALB demo load balancer. All right, and we will leave this as all these as defaults. Actually, everything here will just be left as a default, except, yeah, just checking my notes here, internet facing, IPv4, your default VPC. Okay, now we just need to make sure you select at least 2 of these. All right, so we'll go with 2A and 2C. All right, this is going to give us high availability. So if one region goes down, we have another, which we've seen happen in the last month or two. All right, so then we're going to go down to our security groups, and I probably have one already. If I can find it here, Chad security group. I'm going to use that. I'm going to remove this default security group. And all right, and then these listeners, we're going to make sure it's going to default to 80 and HTTP. That's what we want. And we want our target group here. So this is what we're going to do. This is how we point. All right, you can go ahead and leave the weight as 1 and 100% here. You're just going to scroll down to the bottom here, all the way to the bottom, and just create load balancer. Now this is going to take a couple minutes, so I will be right back. Okay, so my load balancer has been created, and this is something that we're going to want to, this is what the lab is saying to keep track of. So instead of navigate off this page, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to open another tab, move over to that page, and now we're going to create our auto scaling group. This is our last little step. And so the auto scaling group is what determines how many instances that we're going to have based on demand. So if demand goes up, the auto scaling group is going to add more servers. If the demand goes down, it's going to reduce our amount of servers. And then we're going to set that amount, that desired amount, and the highest and the lowest amount of servers that we want. And then, what does our load balancer do? Our load balancer just directs the traffic amongst those live running instances. So if we have two instances up, the load balancer is just going to hand off traffic to those two back and forth. You could do something like a round robin where it just gives one request to one server and it goes to the other one and it just rotates back and forth. Or you can wait it to go to one server more than the other. And so we're going to create our auto scaling group. And so you're going to just go to the EC2 here, and it says if you scroll down, you'll see auto scaling at the bottom here. You can also just search auto scaling groups up there. All right, so you can see I've already created one, but I'm going to go ahead and create another. All right. And so give it a name, Chad's new ASG group demo. These are just generic names. I'm just giving something that I can see it quickly know what it is. All right. And then so I've already created this launch template. And so I'm going to just go ahead and use this. This is the launch template that I didn't demo, but we have good directions to how to do it. I showed you what my launch template looked like. It's only a few steps. And so you just create your launch template from the very first lab, and it'll be here. And so I'm going to select my existing launch template. And again, when you can see, pretty much what your launch template is all about. I've got AMI image over here. It's a T3 micro. It names my, it gives me my security group ID. So yeah, my template's there. It's all set up. And then we're just going to go ahead and after we pick the template, yeah, we can just click next. All right. And then I believe for this, select all subnets. So go to your subnets here and select all of these guys. All right. And then you could do balance best effort. You got options here. Just going to go ahead and click next. And now we're going to attach our load balancer. And so attach to existing load balancer. And we go here and we should see it. All right. And now I have, this was from earlier. This is the one I just created. So we'll go ahead and go with that. And B, so we go down. For our health checks here, we're going to turn elastic load balancing health checks on. So we'll click that and can just leave this at 300 seconds. All right, now you're going to click next. Now we're going to configure the group size and scaling. So what's our desired amount of servers that we want running? So we're going to go with 2. And we're going to say the minimum amount of servers we want is 1. And we'll say the max is 3. All right. And we're going to leave this, I believe, at no scaling policies. Select target tracking policy. Actually, select target tracking policy. So select this. And you can give it a name. Or you can just leave it. We'll give it a name. Chad's target tracking policy. All right. And then we're using for that policy, it's going to be CPU. Could even do like CPU in here so we know. Because what we're going to do, our metric for this auto scaling, whether it goes up or down, is based on the CPUs. And so if you don't have CPU utilization over a certain amount, it's going to scale down. And if it goes over a certain amount, that's where we're going to kick in. So we should have one until the CPU on that one server goes up to 50%, and then it's going to kick to another one. And then until both of those CPUs hit 50%, it won't go to that third one. All right, so we're going to give it a leave it at target value 50, leave it 300 seconds, and go ahead and click next. And you can add, go ahead and click next here. You can add tags here if you want. Go ahead and click next. Actually, let's see here. I want to click that. Tag zone, so test, chat, tag. And then view config. So we can basically do our review here. It's good. Hopefully everything matches our docs. You can see I've got my key, my tag, my silly tag that I created. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and create the auto scaling group. And we're going to go to our EC2 dashboard, and we're going to watch these things spin up. We want to hurry because we want to try to figure out which ones are provisioning right now. So these two that are initializing, I'm going to assume are our instances. It should have my security group, and it does. So we'll tag these. Chad 1, Chad 2, and there's a Chad 3 down here that I never killed. So I think I still have an auto scaling group working. I'll clean that up later. So Chad 2, Chad 1, you got to click this little X here. All right, let's just make sure this one is us here though. Yep, good. Make sure this one is, yep. We're good there because I can see my security group. There's other ways to check too, your IPs and whatnot. All right, I wonder if I can kill this while we're waiting. Go ahead and delete this guy. All right. Now, how do we get to our endpoint though? How do we see where this is being served? All right. So we opened up and we saved these guys here. So there's this endpoint here, this DNS lane. So this is an A record. So this is it's just basically your HTTP endpoint, your URL. And then this is going to just drop this guy in here and see if our app is being served. Maybe not yet. We might have to wait. It does take a second to provision, so we will wait a minute and see. Okay, we are up and running here, and so we've got our two instances, but we want to see if it's running, right? So we grab our DNS record here, go up here. There's one thing to remember when you're doing this, make sure that you're doing HTTP, right? Because that's what this is. This isn't HTTPS. We got it running there. Let's see if I can try that again. Yeah, so it's not secure. So just make sure. So if it doesn't work, just take the S off the HTTPS and it should work for you. And so you can see our two instances here are running. And yeah, so we got our auto scaling up and running. We've got our load balancer running. And I'll just kind of do a quick check. There's a bunch of stuff in the lab that you can do and play with this, but I just want to show you guys a refresh here. So here's my two running instances, and I want to go ahead and I want to delete these guys, right? I want to delete one of them and see if the other instance kicks up because we have our desired state is two instances in our policy. So we're going to delete one of these guys or terminate them. And then as that's shutting down, another one should provision. Let's have to wait here and see if it kicks in. I will go ahead and pause for a sec. All right, and so we've got this guy initializing here. And so let's see if that's my instance. And there it is. So that's coming up. So that's our auto scaling where it moved us back up to 2. And so you can go in and you can change your policy and bring it back down to 1, and you'll notice that one of these will shut off and then you'll just have 1 running. But yeah, so that's how we've got our we're using our launch templates with our load balancing and with our auto scaling group. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that you guys can do in the lab, but I just wanted to get a quick walkthrough here going because our video this morning crashed my computer and I lost the recording. So I hope this was helpful. There is one quick thing that I didn't go really into very much, but when you are building your images, this is the command here. And so there was an error earlier where there were 2 different arguments here. And so you just want the one AMD64 for the Mac users. For the Windows users, this doesn't matter. But I didn't show you building of the image. And so that's the one thing that I did not do is build the image here. But you should be able to follow these steps to the T now. I fixed the repos, so the repos should be good. And you guys should be able to go ahead and build your Docker image, no problem. And so your command is right here. And so this should build for you. And then you'll just want to, push those images up to Docker Hub. So you got to do that login, which we saw this morning. There can be some issues around that. Just reach out if you get stuck. And then yeah, and then so just you'll have to get your builder X up going for the people that are on Macs. But you just push. Here's your push command here, and yeah, just reach out if you guys have any issues. But I hope this is helpful.